You thought it was done. You thought it was over. You thought they were moving on, maybe delaying it, but no. No, my friends. Sony is doubling down. They're doubling down. In fact, they are right on the edge of delusion. Like, some of the stuff we're about to hear, you're going to go, what? There's no way. There's no way that this is true. Oh man, it's pretty remarkable. It's pretty remarkable. Yeah, so the future of Marathon after last month or so feels rather unsteady indeed. But in a new SIE presentation, Sony is reinforcing that it's an important game in its lineup and it's projecting confidence. Okay. Sony's Herman Hulst took some time during his overview of PlayStation's offerings to single Marathon out as, quote, an innovative and bold take on the extraction shooter genre. It is bold. A lot of what's going on with it is bold. This was joined by a slide that under the banner Fiscal Year 2025 Focus, which said that there is a strong early engagement for Bungie's bold and innovative new title. Dude, this is why you can't trust anything on its face when it's written in corporate jargon, because strong early engagement for Bungie's bold and innovative title. I'm sure they just looked at how many times it was trending on X. They don't tell you why it was trending because it was not for good reasons, but they're like, engagement's really high. People are talking about our game a lot. What are they saying about it? Shut up. No, I mean, that's like a pretty important piece of it. Like, you say that the game is being talked about virally online. People can't stop talking about it. What's going on with it? What are people saying? So anyway, 2025, like it's very selective. It's that Apple and NVIDIA slideshow type of presentation where it's not what they say, it's what they don't say. Do you want to hear the little snippet of Herman Hulst saying this though? So Paul also retweeted this from American Truck Songs. Sony's annual business segment meeting for PlayStation was last night. Unlike last year's event, however, this one did not take live questions and appeared to be entirely scripted. Yeah, they took it and did not open it up for questions from investors and the public, which not great, but let's hear what Herman had to say.
It's our goal to release a very bold, very innovative and deeply engaging title. It's going to be the first new Bungie title in over a decade.
Bear in mind, he thought that Concord was so innovative with its unique story elements, which, remember, was a 60 to 90 second cutscene that would swap out every week. He called that innovative. And now he is saying that Marathon is going to be a similarly innovative and engaging game. And he also thought that Concord was going to be on the level of Star Wars, according to Colin Moriarty's sources. I think he's smoking straight copium, dude. Like this, it's either like he's just lying or it's straight delusion. But this is your brain on nonsense, okay?
Like, Vendor the Offender donated $10 through Super Chat.
Thank you, my friend.
That conspiracy theory about Sony not delaying the game on purpose so they can take over is becoming more of a reality with every new article.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it. Again, we first threw it out as like kind of a half joke, like maybe they're intentionally letting this fail so they can fire all of Bungie's executive team and not have to pay stock options. And then they have an argument in the inevitable lawsuits to be like, no, we gave them the chance, they screwed it up, so we don't have to pay them anything and we're cutting ties. That very well could be part of the strategy at this point, because I think, they're in a rough spot for sure. But this is just straight up delusion if he genuinely thinks that this is what people think of it. Again, let's just play it back real quick.
Engaging title. It's going to be the first new Bungie title in over a decade. So we're really excited for that release.
We're excited too. It's why I've said no matter what, there will be content, my friends. There will be things to talk about. It's why, like, even if the Horizon Online game, whether it's amazing or dog water, we will find things to talk about. Either way, we're going to be entertained and it's going to be a good time.
monitoring. We're going through the test cycles. We're monitoring the closed alpha cycle that the team has just gone through. We're taking all the lessons learned. We're using the capabilities that we've built in analytics and user testing.
Okay, so he basically just used like 150, 200 words to say, we're looking at the alphas and the data we collected. Could have said it that quickly, but
To understand how audiences are engaging with the title.
To understand how they're engaging with it. The word you're looking for and that you're doing this research to find is negatively. They are engaging with it negatively. There you go. I just saved you $50 million.
You know, some of that feedback, frankly, has been varied, but it's
Some of it, you say. Some has been varied. This is like when Todd was asked about like negative reactions to Starfield, and he's like, yeah, some people like the game and some people like it less. It's like, bro, come on. It's like asking somebody in some governmental position, what do you think about the life expectancies dropping so severely in this area where the water is poisonous? And you go, well, you know, some people drank the water and lived a good long time and other people lived less time. It's like, technically you're right, but you're wording this in a way that's like really kind of slimy, you know, like, you know what you're doing. Yeah. And I understand, Luke, it's investors. They're investor facing. It's investor. So they're trying to like frame it more positively and spin it. And that's just what these things are. Yeah, but I think that you have a fiduciary duty to not just totally bullshit your investors. Sorry for the language. I don't know of another term that would be appropriate. And the fact that they're going so far as to like not take live questions is also, I think, quite shameful and disgraceful, because you know the first question would be, you've had scandal after scandal after scandal, and now like the reception to fair game $, apparently, is so negative that even the co-founder of the studio was pushed out. You have Marathon, which is caught up in its own suite of scandals where now people are openly calling for it to be just delayed or canceled, and the player interest has plummeted and the game is toxic online. Like, how are you dealing with these things? And how does this keep happening on your watch? These would be the questions that would be very, very fair to ask. Very fair to ask. But nobody can ask them because they shut the door and they're not open to it. And I think that's shameful, because everybody should get those answers, but instead they're just not just pretending like those questions don't exist and are not on everybody's minds, but then they're straight up gaslighting us like, yeah, player engagement has been somewhat varied. It's like, bro, you're hard pressed to find a single person that's like, Marathon's gonna be great. Like, I played it and I was like, yeah, I'm excited to play more when they do the alpha. I played it during the alpha for a few more hours, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of done with it. I kind of reached the end of it. I don't see much more that they could do. I think they need to delay it, add like 5 new game modes, figure out how to do the ranked stuff. Like, there's a lot they still need to do. Otherwise, I'm good. Like, after the alpha, I already feel like I'm done. Like, I feel like I've played everything the game has to offer, and that's not great. It's not a great spot to be. Really is not. Let's see what else he has to say. Herman, keep gaslighting me, baby. It's like high school all over again.
super useful. That's why you do these testing. And the constant testing and the constant revalidation of assumptions that we just talked about, to me, is just so valuable to iterate and to constantly improve the title. So when launch comes, we're going to give the title the optimal chance of success.
So we're going to continue iterating and listening to the feedback and stuff. It's like, bro, the feedback is unanimous. Everybody, even the like 15 people who are super into Marathon, even those people are like, delay it, because even they are like, there's not enough at launch for it to pop off. And if it does not pop off at launch, the odds of there being significant, like a significant player base, drops significantly. Like it just, it's very hard for a live service game to start low and then climb steadily. Like that just, it's very rare that can happen. It can, but it's rare, especially for a game this visible. most often, if a game starts low, it stays low and just gets lower. And for something like Marathon, I think the risk is because they're not delaying it, they're not putting some of these key features in time. Like the ranked mode, who knows if that ends up being there at launch. And the fourth ship, which they say is not there at launch. There's all sorts of things like that that are just going to be real hindrances for it. And, you know, maybe they can work it out, maybe they can recover, and maybe this will be a prime example of there's no such thing as bad press, but I kind of doubt that. He continues on. For starters, at the least, the presentation reinforces a window for Marathon fiscal year 2025 in a time where most players believed it would have been delayed out of its current September 23rd, 2025 release date. Fiscal year ends March 26, so it would not be something huge like a year delay. Even 6 months is pushing it, so if there is one, it would not be all that long. And you would wonder what might be able to change or fixed in that time. So they do leave the window open to delay the game. If they need to, they could push it to February or January or something, but they are reaffirming publicly it's in this fiscal year. So it could stay in September. They could delay it to February. We just don't know. It's open though. It's open. There's a possibility there. But I don't think it needs 6 months. It seems like it needs like a year or two. That leads to the next aspect of this, the supposed strong engagement. Sure, there's been strong engagement, but that consists of a lot of negativity about its gameplay reveal, then an overwhelming sense that the closed alpha was underwhelming, then an industry-wide scandal where it was revealed that plagiarized art had made it into the game's pipeline over a number of years and had ended up in the game itself. So yes, there was engagement. This is why, again, it's not just corpo speak to be like, yeah, we have a lot of engagement. I think that crosses the line into deception. It's lying by omission. It's not just like, oh yeah, we're framing it a little way.
Tony
No, they're lying.
Donated $10 through Super Chat.
Thank you.
This entire interview has about as much substance as Brick from Anchorman describing the weather. I love lamp.
I love lamp. I love carpet. I love carpet. I love lamp. Yeah, you're right. That's basically what this is. Thank you for the 10. And I agree. It's just nonsense. But this is where, again, to frame it as strong engagement, that to me crosses the line out of corpo speak just down into straight deception. If you were an investor who's kind of passively aware of what's going on, I think you would look at this statement and get a very different idea of the reality around Marathon than what the reality is. You would take that as like, oh, people are talking about it. People are interested. Okay. And if that's the perception when that is not the reality, that gets into lying by omission, in my humble opinion. Either Sony's completely divorced from the online conversation surrounding Marathon, or they see where things are headed and feel forced to project strength regardless. Saying nothing about Marathon or waffling on it here would do nothing to help them or the game, so of course, yes, you say you believe in the game, even if you're dancing around what's actually happening by bragging about engagement. But internally, even Bungie is extremely concerned about where things are and where things are going from here. Yeah, I mean, it's either way, it's not a great thing. Either they're aware of how things are going and they're lying and kind of lying by omission about it, or they genuinely think engagement is high and they think it stands a really good chance, which is almost worse. That's almost worse. That's really bad. That's really, really bad. Because then they're not just like lying and being malevolent in that way. They're just incompetent, which is also not great. They show this little chart as well. So they have the live services, build foundation and strengthen capabilities chart. So they have the show, Destiny 2, Helldivers. They have Marathon launching in this window and then Fair Game $ launching at some point, after that. The chart of Sony's live service prospects is bleak. There's no real getting around that. It considers its eternal baseball game, The Show, a live service. Destiny 2 has been bleeding players and is now entering a very risky new era that seems unlikely to return the game to its glory days. Marathon is on the edge of oblivion at this point. It's hilarious they're even saying Fair Games is still actually coming out. The unequivocal blight, Freudian slip. Bright spot here is Helldivers 2, which has been true since it launched, but its developer Arrowhead will not be working with Sony for its next game. I wonder what their long-term support agreement was. Did Arrowhead agree to support the game for a year, 2 years? What did they agree to? I wonder. Because I could see them getting to a point where they're like, hey, we are ending support on the game. Servers will still be up because that's a PlayStation thing, but we're moving on to our next game, Helldivers 3, and that's exclusive to Yeah, or not exclusive to PlayStation. I don't know. Over the course of the past 2 months, I've arrived at the conclusion that Marathon is just not going to work. The vibes are awful. The problems with the game are mostly etched in stone. And now we have an art theft scandal on top of that. I do expect it delayed to be announced, but it won't be lengthy. And I do believe this game, or this is going to be the release that both Sony and Bungie need, whatever they're saying. Or this is not, I do not believe this is going to be the release that both Sony and Bungie need, whether they're saying it in their slideshow or not. And I kind of agree. I mean, I think at this point, the problem for Marathon is that before it even launched, or before all of this is the key. So sure, there's been a strong engagement, but it consists of a lot of negativity about the gameplay reveal. Gameplay reveal, people weren't that thrilled by. And then an overwhelming sense that the closed alpha was underwhelming. So then there were two bad things. And the game's it was already losing players in the closed alpha. People who had access stopped playing and were moving over to ARC Raiders and stuff. Then an industry-wide scandal. The game is just frankly toxic right now, you know? And that's something where I don't think you can magically fix it. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. So I think the story continues, but it looks like Sony at the very least is not going to give them a lot more time. They're going to put it out and they're going to basically just tell them to sink or swim, and it's going to be what it's going to be. I think the odds of a delay are decent, but the other piece of this that you have to bear in mind, the reason in that article that they don't show the Horizon game is because it's not been officially revealed. Everybody knows about it, but it's not been officially revealed. So that is also at play here, because on that chart they show they don't have anything for 2026. The Horizon game is supposed to be that game. So if they delay this into 2026, that, you can start to get into problems with scheduling and coordinating marketing efforts and all sorts of things, but time will tell. I seeing how they're handling it so far, if they delay it, I think it, maybe February, they slide it in some point there, or like late January. They put it right around the same time as Helldivers launch and hope that they get lucky in the same way with just nothing out at the time and they get some people playing it that way. But I don't think it's going to be enough time to really do much of anything. Maybe they bring that fourth map at launch. Maybe that's one of the ways they can fix it. It gives them enough time to work on the ranked mode and get that working. But I don't think it's going to be enough time to like totally reinvent the game or anything. Like some people were saying, oh, just get rid of the heroes. Go back to like character-based stuff where it's all based on your loadout. And then there's no hero skills or anything. You can't do that. That doesn't work. Okay, that doesn't happen. That just doesn't happen. So we will, again, continue keeping an eye on it, but it's still not looking good. He took my thing.